Hey guys, it's Sherry Vegas and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you all the different ways that you can make pillar candles. To start off with, you're going to need a few items, some scales, a measuring jug, a thermometer, a stovetop where you can melt your wax, so a pan. I've got a few different molds because we are making pillar candles. You do need to get pillar candle molds. I've got a metal one that comes with a candle wick, and then I've also got some plastic ones where you add your wicks in, just to show you the different types, and they need to be used slightly different ways. I've also got a bunch of wax here. This is crystallized palm wax, so it's a bit different from the normal soy wax that I always use on my channel. This has been designed to work for pillar candles because they are a freestanding candle. They don't have a container around them holding them, so you need to use a different wax. So this wax has been designed to use as a freestanding pillar candle. You can get soy wax that has also been designed for that. So when you are buying your wax, you just need to double check that if you want to be making pillar candles. I've also got some candle wax, dyes, and whatever fragrances you want, as well as some wicks and some glue tack to hold the wicks into place. So I am using crystallized palm wax, which is from Aussie Candle Supplies, and I'm also going to be using the Aussie Candle Supplies braided wicks, which are ACS7, and I'm using some peach blossom and brown sugar, as well as some salted caramel, and this is from Candle Supplies for my fragrance. So I'm going to be doing this in two different parts. I'm going to show you how to work with your metal pillar candle containers first, and then in our second part I'm going to show you how you can work with the plastic containers, because it is a different technique slightly. So we'll be working with these ones first, and for about this size container I'm going to need around 350 grams of my palm wax. So I'm going to measure that out here. So I've just got my scales here, and I'm going to measure out the 350 grams. To melt my wax, I'm just going to be using the double boiler method, and the reason why I'm using this is because it lets me control the heat of my wax a lot better, because I don't want to accidentally burn it. If I was to just stick this wax in the microwave, I've got no control over the heat and I can't bring it up slowly or cool it down slowly. So you're going to get issues with just putting it straight in the microwave, because you don't want to accidentally burn it and ruin your product. So the wax that I'm using today needs to get up to 90 to 95 degrees. All of my terminology today is all going to be in the metric system because I am in Australia. So if you are in the US, you just need to look that up and calculate it to work it out for you. But generally, no matter where you buy your wax from, it will tell you on the label, because different brands of wax and different types of wax will need different things. So for this brand that I'm using, which is from Aussie Candle Supplies, which is the crystallizing palm wax, it needs to get up to around 90 to 95 before I can pour it. So with my first container, this is the metal one, and this goes up through there, which leaves space for your wick. And what I'm going to do, so that way when I do place this over the top, I don't want the wax leaking out through that hole. So what we need to do, even though it feels like it won't because that's a pretty tight fit, I'm just going to put some glue tack around the bottom. I have pink glue tack today because that's what I had on hand. So you just want to place it right around the bottom. You don't need a lot, but this is just going to act as like a little barrier, stopping that wax from accidentally pouring out. And then we're going to place this on top. And then you really want to press down hard, making sure that's really secure. I've also covered my table just in the area that I'm pouring with a bit of plastic just in case any of this does accidentally pour out. So now we've gotten it up to the 90-degree mark and it's fully melted. So it is the perfect time to take it off the heat and add the fragrance in. The same when you are working with soy wax and the container wax. You don't want to add the fragrance in when the wax is on the heat because it will start to burn that out and you'll lose a lot of that fragrance. So you want to take your wax off the heat and then add your fragrance in. Once you've added your fragrance in, and it's the same amount as it is for soy candles, so 10% maximum, around 5 to 10%, depending on what. I had the perfect amount left in this container, so I just poured it out without having to put it into a measuring cup. And then you want to give it a stir. You don't have to stir this as long as you do with your soy wax, but you still want to make sure that your fragrance has combined in. The one thing you do need to know about when you are pouring your palm wax over like your normal soy container wax is if you don't pour it all in one go and you've mucked up your calculations and underestimated and you ran out halfway and had to melt more, you will see like a distinct line from where the two different waxes have joined. Normally, like if you're doing that with like your soy candles, you can't see it, they blend in really well, but with this sort of wax you do actually see it. So you want to make sure you get your measurements right the first time, and you want to get it as close to the top as possible or even doming, because when it does cool down it's going to contract slightly. So you just want to make sure that you get your measurements right, because if you do have to melt more and pour it on top, you are going to see that line from the first pour to the second pour. So I've gotten that right up to the top and it's slightly domed, and that just means that when it does cool down and contracts a bit, because obviously when anything cools down it contracts from when it's hot, I don't want to end up with a sunken candle. So by pouring it just where it gets to that doming point, you're going to have a perfectly smooth candle. I do have a tiny bit of my wax left over, so that 350 amount is the perfect amount for this size container. I can just let that cool down and dry, and then when I do a next pour, I can just add more wax to that and let it melt down, so I'm not wasting that. So it's always good to have like sort of designated containers and stuff like that for each type of wax. And then when I go to do these ones, I can just melt that back down. Also too, the glue tack is doing its job. We've got no wax leakage coming out from around the candle, so it is holding all the wax into place. One thing you do need to be careful about pouring your wax is if you pour it too hot, you can get a little bit of shrinkage, so that's why we want a dome, like I said before. But if you pour it too cold, it actually will get a lot of air bubbles in it, and then as you burn down your candle, you'll see that. So you want to make sure that you get it at the right temperatures for melting and for pouring.